Cassandra and Lisa, so nice to meet you. I'm Bethany Jones. I am the Director of Energy Jobs at the U.S. Department of Energy. And so we advise the Secretary on labor issues, and we also are trying to make sure that all of these investments we're making in clean energy are aligned with the labor standards to make sure that the jobs are both high quality, family sustaining, supporting of workers' health and safety, and also that there's good access to the jobs, especially for underrepresented workers. So that's the job of our office. It's really a pleasure to meet with you today. Could you each take an opportunity to introduce yourselves?
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Benny, for having us here today. My name is Lisa Davis. I am the Director of Recruitment and Retention and an HVACR service specialist for the International Training Institute, which is the training arm of the International Sheet Metal Workers Union, which we call SMART.
Great. And Cassandra?
I'm Cassandra Klein, and I am the Director of Building Construction Technologies with NEMIC. And what NEMIC does is they work with the industry stakeholders to make buildings safe and keep them healthy while improving energy efficiency.
It's so great to have you here. So just to kick things off, could you each take a moment and tell us about what your job is like day to day? Starting with you, Lisa.
Sure. I'll say that there is no real typical day for a sheet metal worker in general. The work is so varied and our scope is extremely diverse. As a commercial service technician, I might have worked days or nights, depending on the needs of our customers, and it could have really been anywhere. I worked in hospitals inspecting fire life safety equipment, biomedical research, buildings, rebuilding huge exhaust fans to be more energy efficient, and I've worked in the high-tech industry. I've even built an oil rig that floated up the West Coast to Alaska. But now I'm more of a teacher for instructors all over North America, and I'm a resource for our joint labor and management training centers. I help write manuals for training, such as things on indoor air quality, testing, adjusting, and balancing, and I help serve as a resource for training centers to teach HVACR service for our apprentices.
That's fantastic. And Cassandra, what about you? Is there a typical day?
Actually, I'm learning that there's not. It just depends on the day of the week and where I'm traveling to. I could be in DC speaking to the Department of Energy and help educate them on our training centers and our certifications for our technicians, teaching about that, or going to any of the locals to make sure that we're participating in the development of the industry codes and standards. And we want to make sure that the integrity of our testing is always key to us. So that's what travel around and maintain that.
So how did you both get into this line of work? What introduced you to the HVAC and sheet metal trades?
Wow. Well, I had originally burnt out of the medical industry. I had intended to be a surgeon, and I fell back on doing a job that I had done during my undergraduate college years, which was working as a mechanic in a bowling alley, believe it or not. And just like with medicine, I loved figuring out how to troubleshoot things, all while working with my hands. But the pay at that bowling alley was just a hair above minimum wage, and there was absolutely no benefits. So one day I found myself Googling, what can a woman do in the trades? That's it. What can a woman do in the trades? And a construction pre-apprenticeship program popped up. It was an all-women's program, and that helped give all women experience working with their hands, doing on-site experience with Habitat for Humanity, and touring different industry sites and union training centers and shops. So I applied for the Sheet Metal Workers Union apprenticeship, and I really haven't looked back since.
And when was that?
That was in 2009 or 10 or so.
So then you went through the apprenticeship. That was a few years, and then you got your journey card. Tell us a little bit about that trajectory.
Well, I went through the 5 year, it was a 5 year for us at our local, that was in Portland, Oregon. It was a 5 year building trades apprenticeship where I learned to do all sorts of things, which was fantastic. I also went through at the same time sort of an optional 3 year service program. So I graduated from those about the same time. And shortly after that, I started teaching part-time at our training center. And after that, I ended up getting a full-time instructor position at our training center to help implement a full accredited service apprenticeship program. It was there that I started taking classes with the International Training Institute and was sort of identified as a resource to help use my experience in the field to teach and help as a consultant, teach as a consultant, and also help with manuals and things like that. And when a job opportunity popped up with the International, I applied and here I am.
That's great. And Cassandra, what about you? How did you get into this work?
Well, actually, growing up, my parents are both in the industry. I'm a second generation female worker. But when I graduated high school, college wasn't for me. I didn't want to join the trades. I moved to Florida for a couple years and then realized there's no retirement and I would just be almost a dead end job the rest of my life. So moved back home and I started as just a truck driver, maintenance helper in a sheet metal shop. And that's when I decided, hey, I see all this, I'm going to take this test. So I got in and I did my 5 year apprenticeship. And then I was asked to take training classes from the ITI for part-time instructor. So that was my next step. And then the opportunity at NEMIC came up and that's what I applied and came in.
That's so interesting. So I don't know that a lot of people know much about apprenticeship. And one of the unique things about it is that it's an earn as you learn apprenticeship. So as an alternative to going to college and often taking on debt, it's a way to work and get paid right from the get-go. Can you just, and Cassandra, maybe we'll just start with you this time, just walk through what that looks like. Like, how does your pay increase over time? What are the benefits associated with going into a union apprenticeship as a career track education and training opportunity?
In my experience, I was fortunate to where we had a raise every 6 months and you had to pass prerequisites to make sure that you're getting different, let's say, welding certifications or you're taking fire life safety classes. And every 6 months you would get your raise and obviously you pay your union dues, you're on time when you go to school. And that really helped me as a first year. I actually bought my first house doing that. And my whole plan was if I could survive on a first year apprenticeship, that pay scale, I should be able to maintain, my living means. So having that, I was very fortunate.
Absolutely. My experience has been similar. Through the apprenticeship program, having that pay transparency was a big attractant for me to apply for a union apprenticeship program. I also knew that I was going to be getting the same pay as all of the men with the same skill level as me going through the program. So getting those incremental pay increases and going from somewhere where I was underemployed to earning while I was learning, having a debt-free, learning situation, getting college credit while not paying tuition was really important. And I also was able to pay for a house while I was a third-year apprentice. So it was incredible for me as an opportunity moving through.
I'm so glad you raised the equal pay, Lisa, because one of the reasons that we're doing this interview at this time is to celebrate Equal Pay Day. And Equal Pay Day is March 14 because it represents the number of days that women would have to work in the new year to make up for the pay gap between women and men from the last year. And so March 14 represents 73 days. And for women of color or from other demographics, that Equal Pay Day would be way later in the year. So the pay transparency that you identified and knowing that you would get equal pay for equal work from the get-go sounds like it was really attractive to you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, no, absolutely. That was 100% the reason why I chose to join a union. And now knowing that women covered by a union earn on average $200 more per week than women not covered by a union. And as you're saying, that means that the pay gap between men and women covered by unions is much tighter than those not covered by unions. So that's just fantastically an opportunity for women and people of color, because the gap is also tightened for them. I'll say that the other benefits beyond the pay is the employer sponsored union provided health benefits. For example, 4 years ago, I had some pretty devastating news. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and it's now being kept in remission by medication that's not cheap, but that my health benefits help cover. And I'd say that there are a lot of people who are underinsured in the country that could really benefit from not just the pay, but also from the benefits that are provided by union coverage.
So the health insurance, I've heard that that they're pretty good plans. What benefits beyond health insurance come along with being in the union?
Well, there's beyond the health benefits and the pay, there's also the pension, and oftentimes that also comes along with an employer matched 401k, and there's also the ability for the unions to help negotiate for that collectively bargained contract. So they do help negotiate pay increases. They help negotiate for safe working conditions. They help negotiate for dignity and fairness for all of its members, as well as a process for filing grievances if that process should need to occur.
That's great. What would you say, like what support have you received, or what could you tell women looking to get into the trades in terms of what they can expect, sort of beyond the pay and benefits and the equal pay and equal benefits, in terms of support for women in the trades, or specific to sheet metal? Cassandra, do you want to start with that one?
What I would tell them to expect this is hard work, but it's satisfying. You're sitting next to your brothers and sisters, and you're doing a job, and you're learning on the job when you first get in. And I've been personally, my experience, I've been very fortunate where I had those mentors take me under their wing, and they showed me exactly how to do my job, and they let me fail. But I didn't get pushed down for it. I got brought up so I could learn from that. And I would just say expect this brother sisterhood. It's really, I mean, it's a family.
That's nice to hear. Like, you feel like people have your back and you have those opportunities to make mistakes and learn from them. How does that differ, do you think, from, there's a lot of focus, especially now with the investments we're making in clean energy infrastructure and also industry, to get people into jobs. And so there's an emphasis on, or sometimes we hear people talk about the need for very short-term training programs to just get people ready to go. What do you think are some of the values of a 5-year apprenticeship program in terms of the skills that you graduate with, and what that enables you to do in your work, compared to, say, a 4-month program?
I think that some of the benefits of a longer apprenticeship program is the continued support. Oftentimes, the apprenticeship programs have a structured mentoring program, and that one that we're expanding. So a lot of that support is built into an apprenticeship program. You do follow through oftentimes with a cohort of your peers. And you're given, as Cassandra was saying, you're given an opportunity to try out some of those leadership muscles. So oftentimes you're paired, say, with a journey level worker, where you're trying out as a lead for a crew, and they may work as your second in command, as the more experienced foreperson on the job. They'll work as a second in command, giving you a chance to exercise some of those leadership muscles. And oftentimes being able to do so really does allow you to get used to that dynamic on the job. I'd say that one thing that they also offer is a direct job placement. And that's something where, community colleges and vo-tech schools absolutely have their place. And they bring incredible value to a community. But the apprenticeship program also allows you to get training certificates and industry recognized certifications along the way, and offers a place to return to rehone those skills, make sure you're current with technology, and also offer a chance to pivot to a second focus of your career.
So Cassandra, let me just ask this question in a slightly different way. So hopefully you can weigh in as well here. When we think about energy efficiency, we know that the quality workmanship really matters. How well are ducts sealed, for example? Or, there's a lot of talk right now around expanding the use of heat pumps and installing heat pumps because of the efficiency gains and also the opportunities to get off natural gas and electrify and bring down emissions that way. So in terms of workmanship, what do you feel like you gain through apprenticeship that aligns with some of those clean energy goals?
What I think we gain, and especially being in the industry part that I am now with NEMIC, we hang our hats on, we are doing the best certification, we are training the skilled, trained, qualified workers. And these technicians, they do have to take testing, they have to do hands-on training. This isn't just a, hey, you read a book and now you can go do it. We're ANSI accredited when it comes to the tab, the fire life safety, indoor air quality. So these are actual technicians that know what they're doing, and they're going to make sure that however it was designed, that we can achieve those goals by making sure the system works efficiently.
So just one last question. What do you think the industry can do? Well, right now, I think across the energy industry, there's about 30% females working in the energy industry. Some subsectors are higher than others, but compared to the US workforce as a whole, which I think women represent about 44% of the jobs, women continue to be underrepresented in energy. What can the industry do to attract and support and retain more women workers?
I'd say that right now, a lot of the positions and careers in this industry, particularly the energy sector and construction jobs, such as Cassandra and mine, they're like the best kept secret in the United States. And I think that the more the word gets out and the more people see women succeeding in these jobs, the more it'll be attractive to other women and other underrepresented communities to join. More and more unions are now offering maternity benefits, travel compensation to relocate, say for these construction mega projects supported by CHIPS and infrastructure bill packages. They also offer, substance use disorder, suicide prevention, member assistance packages, and education like that. And I think that a lot of the idea of seeing, again, women in leadership and representation, not just in the ranks, but also higher and higher represented in leadership is important. We have a saying, you can't see it if you can't be it.
That's great. Or you can't be it if you can't see it. I think they work both ways.
Yep.
Great. Anything you would add to that, Cassandra? What do you think the industry needs to do better to bring more women in?
Oh, I completely agree with everything Lisa said. I think in promotion, I mean, getting the word out, like Lisa's best kept secret, that's what we go on. If you don't see it, you know, if we're not here, I think there's a lot of career fairs or going to high school, starting down to middle school, is showing, you know, young women, this is an opportunity, this is how you could work, and basically we're living proof of it.
That's fantastic. Thank you both so much. It was really great talking to you and hearing about the resources that are available to help support more women and more people in general get into the trades. I think college is great, but we've been pushing people toward four-year college as the only path to a middle-class career where you can buy a house. And I think that as more people understand that the union construction trades provide the same opportunity to the same industry recognized credential, that's sort of the gold standard and recognized anywhere across the country. I think that is really important for young people to see that there's other options beyond just college debt or a four-year degree. And in fact, with our infrastructure and industrial investments, probably 3/4 of the jobs don't require four-year degrees. And these are jobs that really, as you both have demonstrated, can enable people to advance in their careers and buy a house and make sure they're protected when unexpected diagnoses come up, and that there's the health insurance to cover it. So really fantastic to hear these examples and see the living proof. Thanks so much.